Hmm. Yeah. Cheftorious, we here, baby. Episode 6. Let's get it started. I'm going to go ahead and invite some people through. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. It's getting warmer out. I'm going to tell you right now, it's getting warmer out. I stepped outside for a few this afternoon, walked the beach a little bit. Oh, man, it was feeling lovely out there. Snow's starting to melt. So happy about this. I definitely want to see how the beach here in Maine is looking when spring hits and all the beautiful foliage is out there, you know what I mean? But enough of that. I'm gonna go ahead and get my mans up in here. Let me check you out. Where you at, Chef Lewis? I got Mr. Chef Lewis Vera with us today. I'm gonna get him in here in a second. And I hope all you lovely people out there is doing fine this afternoon. Staying warm, absolutely. Hope you're staying warm, staying safe, keeping yourself COVID clean. Take care of each other. You already know what time it is. We've been dealing with this for a while now, so we all know what to do. Just waiting on my man Chef Lewis. Adding Chef Lewis. Get into it, Cheftorious. So 6. Recording, filming live out of York Beach, Maine. Yes, sir. Chef Lewis, I sent you the invite to adding you now. There he is. There he is. Salute, bro. Chef, how you feeling today, man?
I'm doing well, How about yourself?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Thank you. And I'm so glad you're in good spirits. And I'm so glad you're healthy. And thank you for stopping by and being a guest on Cheftorious today, bro.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Let's start off with tell the viewers who you are, what you do, and where you're from, man.
So my name is Chef Luis Vera. I'm from Florida, a little town called Fort Myers, just outside of Naples. I've been cooking for about, I'm 27 now. I started when I was about 15 as a prep cook. And since then, I've been everything from a saucier to a sous chef and everywhere in between, a pizza cook, a line cook, prep cook, anything you can think of, I've probably done it.
Wow, yeah, that sounds amazing, man. You got some history. You've been in the game for a while now. That's awesome, man. 15, that's a real young age to be starting out as a prep cook and getting out there, man. That's salute to you for that, because to be that age, you know, it's hard to find serious teenagers about their work. It's hard to find that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I was 15, I didn't know left from right. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I took it as a job. And actually, I'll be real honest with you. I got fired from that job because they said I was too slow. So I mean, Oprah got fired. So it's just part of the history.
It's just part of the game, man. That's all. It's just part of the game. Learning experiences. Hey, I've been fired before too, man. It ain't nothing. We all live and we learn from that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask? Can you please tell the people what your heritage is? What's your bloodline?
So I'm Chicano American. My dad is from Mexico. My mom is from, I believe she's from Bradenton, but ultimately her family is from Mexico as well. So
Mexican American. Representando, we got Mexico in the building. And I'm glad that you let us know that, because Cheftorious is for the people. And we take everybody. It don't matter what your background is, as long as you love food and you have a passion for what you're doing. Cheftorious wants to talk to you. You know, yeah. we keep a blind eye to all that color stuff. You know what I mean? And sure. Man, woman, listen. If the dog loves food, let's talk to the dog.
Let's go. Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'd like to start off with a question. I love your food photos, and I gotta ask this, bro. What's up with that roasted alligator, baby?
Yeah. So that alligator, I actually I made that in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and it wasn't on the menu. It was my birthday. It was my 26th birthday, I believe. Okay. And Cape Cod was the hardest season that I've ever worked. I was working 80, 90 hours a week on some Bob's Burger stuff. I was living above the restaurant and would just come down, wake up in the morning, shower, brush my teeth, and then get to work. And then when I clocked out around 11:30 or 12, I was back to the grind the next day. So I took 2 days. I requested the 2 days off because we only got one. I got lucky. I got Fridays. But yeah, so I requested it off, and I ordered these from my hometown in Fort Myers. I got a homie I went to high school with, who now that's what he does. You know, he just put on this amazing festival in Fort Myers, and all centered around Gator. So I ordered 2 gators and I shipped them up. And for my birthday, I got to rub them down and I stuffed them with cornbread and andouille sausage stuffing. And I smoked them for about 6 hours, and it came out great, honestly. And everybody else was super, you know, some people were weirded out. Some people were all about it. Yeah. And it was definitely a treat. It was definitely a treat for everybody. And I want to do it again real soon, honestly.
Oh, you should, and I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have to jack that from you, especially with stuffing that alligator with cornbread and andouille sausage, bro. You blew my mind with that. That's lovely, and a lot of people don't know how much of a delicacy gator is, and I mean, basically, you're really only gonna get it. I mean, you can only get it from Florida and Louisiana area, and no other place in the country. They got to get it from us in Florida, because as I told you, I'm from Florida as well. Well, originally from Mass, but I've been in Florida for about half my life, and I know the area where you from. Lovely, great restaurants out there, great food in Fort Myers. I love Fort Myers and Cape Coral area. I really do.
For sure.
The island I was actually working on as executive sous chef is like right off the coast of Fort Myers.
Yeah, I saw that. USEPA, right? I've actually been thinking about taking a job out there because they're always hiring, and it's just like what we do, a seasonal job, and it seems really interesting.
I'll tell you right now, I will give your name to the general manager if you want me to, because I still have great relations with everybody on the island. It's a beautiful, wonderful place. The residents of the island, it's just $1 million private island. So no one from the outside really comes in except for the workers. But it's a beautiful atmosphere, bro. You'll love it, man. And I promise you, after we finish here, I'll get some information from you, and I'll even give you somebody's number up there you can call and talk to about it. It's a great place.
That sounds real good, Chef.
Real quick, I just want to let the viewers know, start your watch parties for Chef Lewis' interview today. Tap that heart button, tap that like button, share this video with all your peoples, because as we continue, we're gonna have a great talk with Chef Lewis. So how do you feel about seafood? What's your favorite seafood dish to prepare?
My favorite seafood dish to prepare? A nice, really, I like a lobster tail. You know, not just like not a Maine lobster. You know, that's its own thing. I love Maine lobster. But down here, you know, from the Keys, we got rock lobster, and it's nice, and it's sweeter than your Maine lobster and stuff like that. So what I do is I'll cut it down the middle, and I'll bring it out of its shell, but still keep it, rested on its shell. And I'll brush it down with some garlic butter, some herb butter, and put it in the oven, and it comes out nice and sweet, it's tender, and you can dip it in your butter, and that's definitely my favorite one to prepare.
Woo! You tell that thing, Lewis. What? Y'all heard Chef right there. Beautiful, beautiful lobster, and the garlic butter is like one of the perfect pairings you could do. I don't even want anything else on my lobster but garlic butter.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a little bit of lemon in there, but that's about it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I like that.
I got to make a surf and turf in Montana, and it was a nice, beautiful steak. And so we live in dorms, in the seasonal life. I'm sure you live in something, similar, some sort of like housing like that. But we didn't have like a conventional oven. So I made that in basically a toaster oven, and it still came out fire. It was amazing.
That's what real chefs do. We work with what we have on hand and still make a beautiful, delicious meal.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that ain't easy to do what you did. That ain't easy to do.
Right. It's easy to mess up for sure.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. So you started out when you were 15. Yeah. What about before that? As growing up, is cooking like a part of your family tradition? Is it a big deal in your family? I know you said you're Chicano, so I know the Mexicans love to get down. Is it a big deal in your family?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I didn't realize what a big deal it was when I was younger. And you know, I knew that on Christmas Eve, all the women in my family went to my grandma's house and they made mass tamales. And that's, you know, it's still a tradition that carries on. You know, my grandmother, God rest her soul, is no longer with us, but they
No,
still get
yes.
together and they, you know, I always see them posting, having margaritas and making tamales. And, you know, it's mostly the older generation that does the tamales. And, you know, my
Yeah.
generation come over and they'll have margaritas going and stuff like that. So, but it definitely is a big deal, and I think that it's a big deal to most families, you know, whether they know it now or not, whether they can see it now or not. But gathering around the table, that's one of the most intimate times you can have with not necessarily just your family, but with anyone, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, I definitely agree with that. One of my favorite quotes that I've come across in my food career is, the best thing you can do for another human is feed them. That's the best thing you could do for another human.
Sure.
I mean,
For
you,
sure,
you feeding someone, that's just the ultimate sign of love right there.
for
Um,
sure. That's
and
definitely
that's a
question.
big deal of why we do what we do. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can agree with this. We have a hard job, but if you love it, you love to serve people.
For sure. Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
It's tough. It's tough. It gets hot, but at the end of the day, you know, you're proud of what you did. You know, when I was working 90-hour weeks, I was feeding, you know, 450 covers and stuff like that. And it was, and that's just in, you know, 5, 6 hours. And
Right.
it's an accomplishment. You feel good, you know?
Oh, absolutely, man. I used to in the beginning, and you can attest to this too. Your rail gets full, and you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Oh my God, what are we gonna do? But as you grow and you get experience, you're like, come on, you hear that machine? Sing, 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 sing. Let's
Right.
go, let's go. Bring them
Right.
tickets on. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, Chef Nate, that is the best part. And also, viewers, get your questions ready for Chef Lewis. Other than the other shows, I'm not going to wait till the end to take viewers' questions because then it gets hard. I have to scroll back. But every now and then, I'm going to look at the comments, and if a viewer has a question, Chef Lewis, I'm going to go ahead and direct their question to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
All right, absolutely. So we talked about a little bit of your history and where you're at now. What other like cultural cuisines are you familiar with? What other from all around the world or anywhere across the country? What other cuisines are you very familiar with?
You know, it's funny, even here in America, you don't realize until you start to travel, especially, you know, out west. In Florida, we do have that kind of like um Latino inspired cuisine, whether it be seafood or stuff like that. But out you go out further west and that's a lot more huckleberry and sage inspired dishes, stuff that I normally don't work with out here. Another one I just got finished working with, I just finished a season in Colorado, and there I was at a Mediterranean restaurant, and we had just beautiful octopus and, you know, house made hummus and all kinds of amazing stuff that I didn't even know, you know, existed or that I could make. And
Yeah.
we ended up killing it. You know, it was a good season. It was actually the first season that that restaurant had been rebranded to a Mediterranean, and I think we did a great job with it. We had roasted pheasant and all kinds of just
Woo!
amazing stuff.
Woo! You talking that thing, chef? You talking
Yes,
that
sir.
thing? I
Yes,
love
sir.
it. Mediterranean. And first of all, for people that don't know, pheasant is not the same as chicken. It's a little close to chicken.
Right.
But listen, I love a good roasted pheasant. I love a
Oh, yeah.
grilled pheasant. And if we could have more pheasant, I would probably eat that a little bit more than the chicken, honestly.
Right.
Seriously. Um, what would be your ultimate holiday feast? What would you prepare if you just had a big to do for Christmas or Thanksgiving and everything was on you? What would your holiday menu be?
Man, that's tough. I'd probably say, you know, I guess in my family, the go-to is turkey. You know, a big turkey dinner with all the trimmings, all the fixings fixed up, and of course, you know, I'm Hispanic, so we have to have, you know, the rice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think a big turkey dinner, something like that. But you know, me, because you know I'm a chef, I have to make it look good. I wouldn't just put this turkey as a whole in the oven to roast. I would probably like cut the back out and spatchcock it, lay it down flat, and put a nice gravy on, you know, something like that, you know, something to impress because people eat with the eyes. when you walk into a restaurant and you hear the sizzling, you see the sizzling platter go by, you're like, what's that? You know, and that's what really gets me is like the presentation.
Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. Chef Nate has a question for you. Chef Nate was our first guest on Cheftorious, and he supports all the chefs and all the guests that we have on. He would like to know what is the cooking process on that gator that you did. He missed the intro where we talked about that, and yeah, he would like to know what was the process, what you did for that smoked gator.
So gator is actually interesting. It's a lot like tofu, not necessarily in the texture, but in the fact that it takes on what you put on it. So I got them, and it took like 2 days to thaw them out. I got them and I put them in a saltwater brine. It had salt water, brown sugar, and a couple other things I don't remember. But we did that overnight, and then I got my days off, so I woke up early. And I went and we rubbed them down. To be honest with you, I think I just bought a generic, basically barbecue seasoning from the Stop and Shop, So I rubbed it down with that. And then I sutured it, of course, because you got to close the stomach. And as I said, I stuffed it with cornbread and andouille sausage stuffing, cut up a little bit of peppers and onions to go in because, onions make everything better.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part was watching it for 6 hours. And you don't realize how much you need caffeine until you're sitting and watching a smoker for 6 hours. So every once in a while, I'd go in and I'd take basically a smaller mop and I would just dip it in a vinegar and sugar solution and just mop it down. Put some liquid on it so it doesn't dry out too much.
Right. And then also, but with that wet sugar mix, doesn't that develop a nice little crust on that meat throughout the smoker?
Yeah, absolutely. The sugars definitely they'll hug on to that gator, and then once you just add on to it, it's like compounding sugar on sugar, and it was just great. It was amazing. I think everybody who tried it liked it. Everybody who wasn't skeptical, that is, some people, because I'm cooking a gator with a head on, they'll say, "Oh, I want to try it," and they'll try it, and sometimes they don't like it. But good question, Chef.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Chef Nate, for that question. He said that he said that's a dope process you got going on there. Chef Nate, I would seriously suggest you try that because I'm telling you right now, when I get back to Orlando on break for a month, I'm definitely going to try that because Chef Lewis, you made that sound so freaking wonderful. You got my stomach growling right now, bro. Oh my God. And listen, I love Gator. I used to make Gator nuggets in abundance at this barbecue restaurant out in Kissimmee, Florida. And that's where I first found it. And it pairs so beautifully with a mango salsa.
Ooh.
Yeah, it pairs beautifully with a mango salsa. I'm telling you.
So I actually learned how to cook that lobster recipe that butter poached lobster in Kissimmee as well. On I don't even remember the name of it, but it was a wild time. It's a fun time.
Listen, Kissimmee, a small city town, but great food. So many lovely restaurants out in Kissimmee. I love dining in Kissimmee, absolutely. So we talked about your experiences. Have you ever, I have to ask this because I know I have, but have you ever experienced racism in the kitchen with someone who's just hating on you? Or?
Yeah, that's definitely an unfortunate part of cooking. You encounter many different types of people. I think Bourdain said it best when it's like the last place a refugee can find a home, and I definitely have, unfortunately. I met this kid. He was a great kid. He was from Boston. We were working together in Montana, right across the street from Chef Z, actually.
Oh.
We were working together, and he played a lot of the Hano music that I listened to in my spare time, that I was brought up on. And I was like, hey, man, where'd you get into this? And he goes, oh, I worked with a couple people back in Boston. So we had a chef come in, and I remember it was like almost day one, and this guy asked, like, oh, who's playing the spick music? And we all just, we kind of turned and looked at each other, and he was above us, so we couldn't really say nothing. We all just kind of looked at each other. I didn't work out much longer at that season, not necessarily because of him, but he definitely attributed to the reason why I didn't stay. But you know, it's kind of it's a real crappy situation. You know, like, I think now more than ever, people are open to being like, you know, about that. You know, and it sucks. Like, I don't have to tell you, Florida is a mecca for a different kind of people. But there definitely is those kinds of people in the kitchen, and that's kind of a crappy part about the life, but it's definitely a part of it.
It is a part of it. I mean, when I first started out, someone told me, "Oh, you got to have a thick skin in this business," and that saying always rubs me the wrong way because I'm like, it's not just this business; it's anything you do, you need to have a thick skin, but you can't force someone to have a thick skin. We all have different personalities, different buttons that can be pressed, different sensitivities, and racism is definitely one of mine. And if you're right, it does suck. It usually comes from your sous chef or your executive chef. I've never experienced it with my colleagues on the line or anything like that, but when I was coming up, I had some executive chefs that would drop the N bomb or drop the S bomb.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it's not comfortable, it's not fun, and like you said, for some reason now it's more in your face.
Yeah.
Which is not cool, but we survive it. We're warriors. Us chefs, we're warriors, and I'm pretty sure. I hope that the kitchens you've been encountering lately and where you're at now, none of that goes on, because I've only experienced it twice and I haven't seen it in years, thankfully.
Right.
But I'm sorry you went through that, chef. It sucked. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah, it happens, man. Like I said, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, I wish you well, but you know, peace. That's not me, you know, like
Right. I've learned to walk away because I won't stay in a place like that. The money is not my ultimate goal. Once you get to a certain level in this cooking game, you can write your own ticket. You can get a job anywhere. You can go
yeah,
anywhere and cook.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I'll walk away from a situation if any of that nonsense is going on. I'll pack up my knives later because
Right.
that's one of the last things I ever want to deal with in the kitchen.
Right.
We have another question from a viewer. Would you like to have your own restaurant or chain? And a B-side to that question, have you ever thought about going to appear on Chopped or other challenging food shows?
All right, I'll start with the first one then. Have I ever thought about my own restaurant or chain? Short answer, no. I don't have to tell you. I'm sure the viewers know the restaurant is a very, very difficult business to make a successful business. I think something like, I read a statistic one time, something like 50% of restaurants fail within their first year, and then that number jumps up to 75% after the first 2 years. So I've been recently thinking about starting a food truck, and the reason I want to start a food truck is because you don't have to have a set menu. If I want to do an event here in Florida, then I can run, you know, the gator, the lobster, the crab legs, stuff like that. If I want to go up to like South Carolina, you know, that changes to like barbecue, and I can, you know, still bring the gator and stuff like that. Or if I go out to Cali, you know, I can put my own spin depending on where I've been on whatever I do, you know, Cubano, stuff like that. But restaurants are a very, very difficult thing to do, especially in this day and age, you know. You have DoorDash and Uber Eats, and that stuff kind of hurts business a little bit. You know, that's a downside to that kind of stuff. But no, I don't think, I would love to go in and be a partnership with somebody, that way that I don't invest my entire life into this and walk away with nothing. At least I can put that on a resume, you know, and that's,
Right.
like you said, eventually you can write your own ticket. And I think with the experience and the places I've been, my references, that I can get a job working with somebody alongside their restaurant. Now question number 2, have I ever thought about being on Chopped? Yes and no. It would be a very interesting thing, because, you know, when you make a dish for somebody as prestigious as Chef Ramsay and stuff like that, you're not just putting, you know, chicken on a plate with, you know, polenta or something like that. You're taking every little bit of knowledge that, because I've never gone to school, you're taking every little bit of knowledge that you've ever had, and you're basically putting it into this plate. And everybody knows Chef Gordon Ramsay will tear you down. And it hurts a little bit, you know, like, I know you got to have thick skin, but it's like, I'm not trying to put myself in that position to get there. If given the shot, I think I would, because I mean, I think that everybody should. You know, cooking's not hard. Perfecting the art is challenging, but it's definitely not unreachable. So I think that given the option, I would go to like a Hell's Kitchen or a Chopped or something like that.
For me, you answered that wonderfully, because you were 100% spot on with everything you said. For me, I would, because of the challenge.
Right.
I just, if I'm not learning, I don't want to be around it. I always want someone who I feel as though could be better than I am, so I can challenge myself and just get to that next level of where I want to be. I've thought about it before, but never more than I'm thinking about it now. Once I'm done here in Maine, I think I may do something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and make a video, and I'm gonna apply for Chopped, because, you know, we both worked in Wyoming, and I was gonna touch on that, but that Thunderdome kind of makes you think about the Chopped situation. So being that, we're gonna piggyback that question from the guest. How was your Thunderdome? Please tell me.
So I tied for second. I guess I did tie for second, because I didn't face the guy who lost in the final round, and one of the guys. It was definitely an interesting experience. So the picture I sent you with Chef Z, that's actually my very first Thunderdome, and unfortunately that one didn't finish, because the guy who was putting it on got hurt, so he wasn't able to continue. Okay. But my last one, like I said, I tied for second, and it's such a fun thing to do. You know, it's just like basically a secret ingredient that you don't know about, and you go in and you basically have to make 2 dishes. On one of my competitions, I made a dessert and an entree as opposed to an appetizer. I think everybody was thrown for a loop there, but I won that competition. And there's nothing better than when, like, people, you know, you reveal your plates and people go, like, you hear the little oohs and ahs, and it makes you feel good. And I remember being in a competition, and it was actually the dessert. I heard the chef, she kind of laughed a little bit, and I turned to the competitor next to me, and I was like, "Did you hear that?" She laughed with glee when she tried that. And, you know, that to me, that's the win. You know, whether or not you go far in the competition or not, if you can give somebody like a moment of joy when they try your food, I think that's definitely the real win.
You're absolutely correct. And I'll tell you my experience in the Thunderdome. We had Chef Farmer, and I don't remember the 2 other judges. And it was a rough time. You know, it was the COVID summer, the first COVID summer. So, you know, the Thunderdome wasn't as full as your Thunderdomes were. We only had to prepare 1 dish, and I came in 3rd. But this is why I came in 3rd. My plate was late for presentation, so it knocked off so many points. But Farmer said, "Man, if you was on time, you would have definitely went to the final round." Our special ingredient was tomatillo.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what did you do with that?
I didn't know what the heck tomatillo was at the time, because when I went to Wyoming, that was my first actual real restaurant line cook experience. So Zen looked at me, and after Zen was like, "I saw your face when they said tomatillo. I could tell you didn't know what the hell that was."
Right.
I said, "No, I didn't." So what I did was I took a piece of salmon out the freezer, you know, thawed that out. I grilled me some salmon, crusted it with some pistachio, right? I made a mustard mango sauce to go with that. I took the tomatillo, I tempered some chocolate, half dipped the tomatillo in the chocolate, served it out there.
Okay.
Farmer loved it. He was like, "People don't understand how good chocolate is when you compare it with fish, you compare chocolate with fish, which I didn't know. But after when I tasted my plate, it was fabulous. But I would have won that Thunderdome if I wasn't late on my presentation.
Yeah. Thunderdome is it's definitely the challenge, you know. To me, like I said, I didn't go to school, so that's like the pinnacle of putting together everything that I've learned in different seasons and really showing like what you can do, where you're at with your culinary knowledge and your abilities.
And like you said, the win sometimes it's just that initial reaction.
Right.
So I wasn't upset that I didn't win, but I love the fact that Farmer was like, oh, I got to deduct all these points and you're not going to make it to the next round, but this is it. That's good.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, thank you. So I know I'm on the right track, and it helped me get to where I'm at today. But yeah,
Sure.
Thank you for sharing your Thunderdome experience. I think Thunderdome is a wonderful thing for what they're doing out there. It keeps the spirits of all the chefs and all the cooks out there high and creativity to another level. I love it, man. I'm glad you got to experience that.
Thanks.
So we talked about that racism. I want to piggyback on that and talk about maybe any discouraging moment you had in the kitchen that you would like to share with us, and how did you dig yourself out of that discouragement?
Yeah. So 2018, I took a step away from the seasonal for a while, and I went on to work at a pretty prestigious theme park in Orlando. For security reasons, I won't say where exactly, but I was a banquet cook, and everybody there was substantially older than me. I think I was the youngest guy there by at least 10 years. This was when I was about 24, 25-ish.
That's rough.
And I got there, and it seemed like it was a lot more production. So it was a lot more standing around, going slow. They'd have 5 people putting shrimp on skewers, you know, kind of real boring stuff. And for some reason, I didn't get the monotony of it all. Like I was bored and stuff like that. But when they sent me to other venues, like I was working in a seafood place right before I started that, and they sent me to this little seafood gig there, this little seafood restaurant they have. And I came in first day working there, and I didn't know anybody, you know, but I knew how to cook. So they put me on the fryer, and instantly the guy who was training me, I was asking all the right questions. I was doing all the right procedures, all without him having to explain literally anything. Okay, we got fish and chips. Okay, fish, you know, dry, wet, dry. And then he saw, I think what really solidified it in his mind was the technique that I used to put the fish in, because you can't just drop it in or stick.
Right.
But that was very discouraging, because everywhere I went within the resort, people loved me. You know, people wanted me to come back to their restaurant to help out, to rescue. But where I was actually at, it was very discouraging, because you know, I wanted something more. That was my dream job. I can't even put it into words how blessed I was, and I jumped at the opportunity. But the first red flag really should have been when my chef interviewed me, and he said, well, you know, even references aren't really credible anymore. And I think I remember being in that interview and my jaw just kind of going, like, because I think, you know, Chef Farmer.
Absolutely.
I think I have some pretty incredible references all around the West and stuff like that. Even in Fort Myers, everywhere I go, I'd like to think I leave somewhat of a good impression. Right. And for him to kind of, you know, cut me down right at the feet, and it was very discouraging. I since then left. I'm thinking about trying to go back to a different position, but you know, it's hard, because I did have that trouble, and I did, you know, I did get in quite a few, I'm not going to say just arguments with a couple of my coworkers. And I think that really, if I were to come back, they would see my name and they'd be like, oh, I remember him. He wasn't quite, but it was very, very discouraging. Like I said, that was everything I ever worked for, got into that interview. And then it wasn't what I hoped. And it sucked to be in that situation. But, you know, I learned from a lot of good chefs there, a lot of good people. Maybe I didn't have the best team around me at the time. Maybe I didn't have the best support system, but you know, it was discouraging. But it was definitely something I took away. I learned from, you know.
Absolutely. Let me commend you on getting through that, not giving up, but you did your thing. It's hard, and I don't like that either when someone says, oh, resumes aren't anything anymore. References aren't it. I worked hard for everything I put on that resume. I worked hard for those references. It means something to us, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I get it. What kind of music are you into, Chef? I love to have. I can't cook without music. I hate it. I hate the silence. I need something jamming because if the food ain't jamming, the food ain't hitting to me.
Right.
What kind of music are you into?
So I like all kinds of music. I'm usually the one that tells people, hey, hop on the aux cord. It's your turn, because I can get down from everything from rap and rock, which is most predominant in most kitchens, to country, which I find a lot more in Florida. Even Spanish music, Tejano, stuff like that, stuff that I can shake a little bit, move around to. Because once you move around, you get the blood flow, and that's when the love goes into the food and stuff like that.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. I myself, I don't listen to rap too much in the kitchen. I love my rock and roll or my old school R&B. Or absolutely the Latino side of me comes out in my kitchen. I will throw salsa on in the kitchen in a heartbeat and just get to town on some stuff. I love it.
Right.
So if you had to cook for any musician, who would it be?
Any musician. That's a good question. Probably Wiz, because Wiz Khalifa, probably because he just released his new food delivery called Munchies by Wiz. So
really?
I'd like to think that I think it's more out in Cali and stuff like that. But I think that he definitely has a way about food. I'm sure that he loves food and stuff like that. And I'd love to make something for him or probably 2 Chainz.
Yo, I dig the 2 Chainz part because actually that man knows some good food. He knows some good food, and I can agree with Wiz too. Wiz will probably eat anything because of what he be. But the 2 Chainz knows some good food. I've seen him on YouTube doing some things, and he knows what's up when it comes to what we do.
For sure.
That's awesome. I like that answer. All right. So let's say, as you know, even doing seasonal work and the travel chef and the stuff that we do, we're still always busy. Earlier you said you ended up at one of your jobs, you ended up getting Friday off, which is like extremely rare.
Right.
Let's just say you had a long, rough season. Probably 6-7 days a week, 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. You finally get your break. Where are you taking your vacation? What's your ultimate vacation after doing a season?
I like everywhere. I think as soon as I finish a season and I'm done with it, when I don't have to work, when we shut down the kitchen, when we finally scrub the floors and we're 86 and we're done, I'll stay in whatever, like relativity to where I'm working. I'll stay in that region for 3 or 4 days and actually look around, because unless you're there in the very beginning of the season, you don't really get too much of a chance to explore. And it sucks because we're in these beautiful mountains or by the beach and stuff like that. And you don't really get to look around. So I definitely stop, and I live, very much like a tourist, on the beach, kicking back, sun on my face, beer in my hand. But if I had to finish out my vacation, I think I'd come right back to Florida, just because it's not cold. I mean, I think we've been cool here for like 3-4 days now, but it's not cold, and you have the beach and Miami, and depending on what time of the I'm big into sports, so depending on what time of the year you come in, you can go catch a baseball game down in Miami or a football game over in Tampa. Which, by the way, go Bucks!
Go Bucks!
Yeah, and so I definitely Florida. I also love like I said, I like the theme parks. So I definitely like to come and try to visit as much as I can. Halloween Horror Nights. I usually always have a little bit of October off, so I try to come down to Halloween Horror Nights and try to do something in Florida.
Love Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. Oh my God, one of my favorite times in Florida is October. Woo wee! I'll tell you why. I went to the one where they had Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy and all that. I almost got in a fight with Freddie because it's ridiculous. It's so real. It is too real.
Right. Yeah. I love all things scary. I actually got some horror people tattooed on me. I got Jason, I got Sammy, and I got, Captain Spaulding. I don't know if you can see him, but
nice. I seen Jason on your forearm there. That's nice. I like that. I dig that, Chef. That's pretty cool. Hey, everybody, you're enjoying this interview. I see you all. Get some questions ready for Chef Lewis. Keep tapping them like buttons. Keep tapping the laugh buttons. Keep tapping the heart buttons. Let Chef Lewis know how Cheftorious he is, please. My next question, okay. I always try to throw a weird question at my guests, just to knock you off the game a little bit. Really make you think. All right.
All right, bring it on.
You ready?
Bring it on.
All right. Aliens have invaded the planet.
Okay.
The aliens, they have took over. They have come accustomed to human food. Mm-hmm. They put you in charge of the kitchen. What are you going to prepare for the aliens?
The aliens. Well, I would probably make them a nice little breakfast spread, honestly. I think breakfast is an important meal, and if they come over first thing in the morning, I'm going to make them, eggs the way they want them. Some nice sausage. You got to have, I'm a big fan of breakfast potatoes, so I'll throw in some sort of hash browns or something.
Yeah.
And then you always got to have your fruits, and those are just pretty. You put them on a plate, you can arrange them any way you want to, almost like a charcuterie board. But definitely, I'd make them a nice breakfast, and I think after that, they want to come over every Sunday and have mimosas. So I'm all about it.
I love that, Chef Lewis. Breakfast is my favorite meal to prepare. I'm telling you, because I think there's more options than lunch and dinner. Right. With breakfast, there's many more options. I mean, because even breakfast, you can go savory, sweet, do anything with the breakfast. I love making breakfast, man. That was a good answer. I love that answer, Chef Lewis. I love that answer.
Cheese grits. Somebody said something about cheese grits. I like cheese grits. I love grits in general, but cheese grits are it.
Oh yeah. Gotta throw some cheesy grits in there. I love shrimp and grits.
Oh yeah.
Shrimp and grits is just. Whoever created shrimp and grits, whoever first created that idea, I love you. You're the best. Shrimp and grits is amazing. I love it. So you mentioned Bourdain. Who are some of your other celebrity chefs that you probably look up to and that you like?
So there's a chef out in the Appalachian Mountains. I think he just moved to Nashville. His name is Chef Sean Brock. And not only is he's doing big stuff with grits, actually. He's like, he reinvented, not reinvented, but reintroduced like old style grits to America and stuff like that. Not only is he doing that, but he's also looking out for our health, because at the end, when the shift's over, you know what I mean? We got to eat. And instead of eating, sometimes, chef will knock a couple back, throw out, go out and party and, just, smoke or do whatever they can get their hands on. And a lot of time that takes a toll on chefs. And it's important now as I get older. When I was younger, I think that's what really got me into the industry, was the fact that I wanted to party. I wanted the rock star life. I wanted that. But as I got older, it's starting to take a toll now. And I'm not always looking to party and stuff like that. If I want to have a beer, I'll have a beer and stuff like that. But I think he's doing more for us as a society of people, not necessarily just some, wayward line cooks. And I think that it's important that we take care of us. And it's great that somebody's finally realizing and saying, hey, maybe we don't have to live like pirates or like rock stars. We can do something else.
Right. We are rock stars, but we don't have to live that way.
Right.
And I'm glad you spoke to that, because one of the issues I had when I was starting out was cooking so much and being in that kitchen for so long, morning to night. I stopped eating. I couldn't eat. I could not eat. I lost so much weight. It was ridiculous. I was like 230 at one point, and next thing I know, I'm thin and I'm 180. I'm like, what the heck? So it was hard to get out of that funk of not eating. because you know we cook so much, we touching so much raw meat, we're touching so much vegetables and all the oils and the smells, and it just really turned me off from eating myself. But you know,
Right.
we figure out our way. We figure out our way, just like you have, just like I have. That's wonderful, Chef. All right, my last question for you is, what chef would you love to cook with?
To cook with?
Yes. Side by side. It could be a celebrity chef. It could be a chef you come across in your journey somewhere. But who is somebody that you love what they do and you look up to them so much you would just absolutely love to cook right next to them?
So there's a pretty famous chef from Canada. He's big on YouTube now too. His name is Matty Matheson, Chef Matty Matheson, and he's super funny, and he reminds me a lot of myself. He's always yelling nonsense, just kind of being loud, and he's all tatted up and stuff like that. He's also a family man now. He had some issues with substance abuse too, and now he's sober. And I want to pick his brain a little bit deeper about what it was like, that transition from being a crazy party chef to being, just this family man, and I think he's done amazing stuff. And he cooks, and the way, just everything that he does, he has a passion for, and he can cook everything from like New England clam chowder to Canadian clam chowder to tacos and stuff like that, and pork belly and stuff like that. And I think that I would definitely learn from him, just because he's so, in your face. Like, you're definitely going to remember a time with, Chef Matty Matheson.
Okay, I dig it. That's a good one, because actually what you're saying, this is what Cheftorious is about. This is what made me try to have this platform for us chefs, is that a lot of us are committing suicide. A lot of us fall to drugs and become addicts, and the only thing we live for is the food in the kitchen. But then outside, we just have no life whatsoever.
Right.
I kind of, and I didn't fall into it as deep as other chefs, but I fell into a depression that, what am I doing this for? I'm always at work. Like, all I do is work. I can't even enjoy spending my money. Like you said, we're in this place. I can't enjoy these mountains. We got lakes everywhere. I can't go do anything. And I became so depressed. And a few years ago, my family helped me get out of it. Chef Zen, he helped me get out of it. And I said, there's got to be something for us chefs to get a release. And I feel as though a part of that is no one ever says to the chef, "Are you okay? How you doing today?"
Right.
No one gets the chef's story. It's just, "Good job, chef. Thank you. That was delicious," and then walk away.
Right.
But for me, I don't know what you think. There's a story behind what we create. We have life experiences that sometimes make us get creative, and then we put it into our food.
Right.
And I just wanted to give people like you, people like Zen, Chef Nate, my baker buddy, Deanna, anybody with anything to do with food. This industry is so rough. Sometimes you just need to talk.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm glad you came to talk to us today and share your lovely story and some of your lovely, great experiences. You guys, let me tell you, Chef Lewis is a phenomenal chef. Go check him out on his Facebook. If you have an Instagram, please share your Instagram. I'll leave it here to you so you can tell people how they can find you. And, hey, let them know where you're at right now in case someone wants to take a vacation and go eat your food.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at @the_Lulu and I got that name from a sandwich that I actually created at one of my restaurants that was supposed to be a special, but it became a big hit. You can also follow me here on Facebook. I'm always posting about my foods and my travels. And if I ever have the pleasure to serve you, it would be my greatest honor, because like he said, we're chefs and that's what we do. I would love to serve you guys.
Awesome, Chef Lewis. Awesome. After the live, could you please go into the comments and put your Instagram there so everyone can follow you? I'm going to jump on your Instagram, follow you. Thank you for taking the time out your day. I know you're busy, and I know you would enjoy your free time, so I definitely appreciate you spending some of your free time with us here at Cheftorious. You guys, Show your Cheftorious love for my man, Chef Lewis. The like button, the heart button, the share button. Share his video, please. Send your love to Chef Lewis. Everybody, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with us today. We had a great talk. We had a great interview. Wonderful questions from the guests. You guys, share this video. Share Chef Lewis's journey. Please send your love. Go ahead, Chef.
All right, so one more thing. I got to make a shout out right now to my very first teacher, my very first chef. It was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to my mom. I love you. Love you, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. Awesome. Anybody else you need to shout out? Go ahead. It's your platform, baby.
Nah, man, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get back to work.
All right, my man. I appreciate you, brother. I will talk to you soon. We will revisit this one day. You the man, Chef Lewis. Appreciate you, boy. All right, y'all. Cheftorious. We are out. One love.
Peace.